Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, a show about garden news, history, and literature. I'm Jennifer Ebling, and today is April 5th. Today we celebrate the botanist who discovered cells in plants and helped to establish cell theory. We'll also learn about an amateur botanist who had a tremendous impact on the University of Michigan. We'll remember a gift of a stunning Fabergé egg known as the Lilies of the Valley egg. And we'll hear a delightful verse about spring from a popular cookbook author. We grow that garden library today with a book about bonsai. And then we'll wrap things up with the story of one of England's great garden writers. But first, it's time for today's curated news. Today's curated news comes to us from Ideal Homes. This is an article that was written by Tamara Kelly, and the title of the article is Cottage Garden Ideas, Creating a Charming Country-Style Garden in Any Setting. Well, in this article, Tamara comes up with a number of ideas for how you can create a cottage garden. And if that's something you're looking to do this year, then you're definitely going to want to check this article out. Now, Tamara gives many great ideas for growing a cottage garden, and she includes plants like foxgloves, grasses, and rambling roses, and all of these plants are staples of any cottage garden. Now, back home in Maple Grove, along my back fence line, I have a cottage garden, and I have to say that over the years, this garden has been the most maintenance-free and also the most enjoyable for me, especially as the years have gone by. So my advice to you, if you're at all interested in giving this a try this season, is go for it. Cottage gardens are meant to be relaxed and colorful. And given that so many cottage garden plants fall into the purples and the pinks and the blues, they're natural favorites with pollinators, which is another wonderful reason to have a cottage garden. Now, in her article, Tamara offers many more ideas for how you can design a cottage garden. In fact, in total, she has 16 different ideas that you can incorporate to create your own cottage garden masterpiece. So, if you would like to follow up and read Tamara's article for yourself, all you need to do is the next time you're in the Facebook group for the show, just head on up to the little magnifying glass that's up toward the top of the page once you're in the group and type in the word cottage, and Tamara's post will pop right up. Now, if you're not in the group, don't worry about it. You have a standing invitation. You can join at any time. The next time you're on Facebook, just search for Daily Gardener Community, where you'd search for a friend and then request to join. I'd love to meet you in the group. It's time for today's botanical history. Here's botanical history for today, April 5th. Today is the birthday of the German botanist and early evolutionist Matthias Jacob Schleiden, who was born on this day, April 5th, in 1804. Along with Theodor Schwann, Matthias was the co-founder of cell theory. And while Theodor recognized that all animal life was made up of cells, Matthias discovered the same thing for plants, that all plant life was made up of cells. Later on, Matthias speculated that the nucleus played a role in cell division. And it was Matthias Schleiden who said, "Youthful fancy lends to the rock, the tree, the flower, an animating genius, and in the thunder hears the voice of God. Then comes earnest science, stripping nature of that inspiring charm and substituting the unvarying law of blind necessity. And today is the anniversary of the death of the American doctor, educator, and amateur botanist Zina Pitcher, who died on this day, April 5th, in 1872. Zina managed to pack a lot of living and incredible relationships into his 75 years on this planet. Known for his tireless work ethic, Zina established the Detroit public school system. He also taught at West Point, and he was a prominent doctor in Michigan and served as president of the American Medical Association. And he was mayor of Detroit twice. In his spare time, Zina was also an amateur botanist, and he even discovered a few new plant species, including a thistle that is now commonly known as Pitcher's thistle in his honor. This white to pale pink flowering thistle can be found on beaches along the Great Lakes. Now, one of Zina's other professional roles was serving on the Board of Regents for the University of Michigan. In fact, Zina was the longest serving of the 12 original regents of the school. Zina helped the school acquire a copy of John J. Audubon's The Birds of America, and he also helped recruit Asa Gray to be a professor of horticulture. When Asa arrived in Michigan, his first stop was to Zina's home in Detroit. Asa accepted the job, but he requested that his start date be pushed back by 1 year so that he could finish his studies in Europe. Zina and the regents agreed, and this arrangement ended up working out for the university as well, because they needed to build more facilities on campus, including the facility that they needed for the horticulture department. In the meantime, Zina and the other regents commissioned Asa Gray to buy books for the school while he was abroad. Well, Asa Gray shopped his bachelor buttons off, and he shipped over 3,700 books back to Ann Arbor. That said, when Asa Gray's time in Europe was done, he never made it back to Michigan. Instead, Harvard stole him away. But Asa Gray's work in helping to create the university library helped establish the University of Michigan's reputation and made recruitment easier. And today, the street Zina Pitcher Place in Ann Arbor is named in Zina's honor. And it was on this day, April 5th, in 1898, that a Fabergé egg known as the Lilies of the Valley egg was presented to the Russian Tsar Nicholas II. The egg was a gift for his wife, the Empress Alexandra. And today, the egg is kept in the Fabergé Museum in St. Petersburg in Russia. Lily of the Valley, or Convallaria majalis, is a woodland plant that flowers in the spring with sweetly scented, delicate, bell-shaped white flowers. Despite its common name, Lily of the Valley is in the asparagus family, not the lily family. In fact, it's not a lily at all. The etymology of the Latin name majalis means belonging to May, and in addition to blooming in May, Lily of the Valley is the birth flower for the month of May. In France, Lily of the Valley Day is celebrated every May 1st. In floriography, or the language of flowers, the lily of the valley represents good luck, and the little bell-shaped blossoms are favorites for making perfume and among brides. Lily of the Valley was included in the wedding bouquets of Queen Victoria, Princess Astrid of Sweden, Grace Kelly, and Kate Middleton. Lily of the Valley thrives in cool growing zones. It cannot thrive in hot conditions. It's time for Unearthed Words. Today's Unearthed Words come from Edward Giobbe, the American artist and cookbook author. I think that no matter how old or infirm I may become, I will always plant a large garden in the spring. Who can resist the feelings of hope and joy that one gets from participating in nature's rebirth? It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, Happy Bonsai by Michael Tran. This book came out in 2020, and the subtitle is Choose It, Shape It, Love It. Michael is the perfect author for this book since he owns and runs his own bonsai nursery in Germany. In this book, Michael walks us through everything we need to know about bonsai. He profiles 40 classic bonsai trees, and he provides step-by-step directions to over 20 different bonsai techniques and styles. This book is 144 pages of a bonsai masterclass, teaching you how to care for and maintain a beautiful bonsai tree of your own. You can get a copy of Happy Bonsai by Michael Tran and support the show using the Amazon link in today's show notes for around $7. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. Today is the birthday of a marvelous garden author and one of Britain's pioneering female journalists, Anne Scott James, who was born on this day, April 5th, in 1913. In 1934, Anne started out as a secretary at Vogue before rising through the ranks to become the beauty editor. After a brilliant career in journalism, including stints at Harper's Bazaar and the Daily Mail, Anne became a garden writer. Her books included The Best Plants for Your Garden, The Pleasure Garden, Down to Earth, and Sissinghurst, The Making of a Garden. Now, regarding Sissinghurst, Anne wrote, Sissinghurst is the last cottage garden made on a grand scale, but fortunately, it does not mark the end of cottage gardening. Both of Anne's children followed in her footsteps and ended up in journalism. Anne's daughter, Claire Hastings, also became a garden writer, and she's the author of Gardening Notes from a Late Bloomer, one of my favorite garden books. And she also wrote a memoir this past year of her mother. It was released in May of 2020, and it was titled Hold the Front Page, The Wit and Wisdom of Anne Scott James. Well, there are just so many wonderful garden quotes that can be attributed to Anne, and I thought I would end the show with two of them today. It was Anne Scott James who wrote, "However small your garden, you must provide for two of the serious gardener's necessities, a tool shed and a compost heap." And she also wrote, "To pick a flower is so much more satisfying than just observing it or photographing it." So in later years, I have grown in my garden as many flowers as possible for children to pick. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. Hey, thanks for spending part of your day with The Daily Gardener. If you want to read even more botanical brevities, just head on over to thedailygardener.org. That's where you can find all the stories, biographies, and books that I share on the show. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for my free Friday newsletter. It has lots of goodies in it, and I try to make the newsletter like you're getting a marvelous letter from a garden friend. You can always find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media. You can follow the show on Twitter, and you have a standing invitation to join the free Facebook group for listeners of the show. Just search for Daily Gardener Community the next time you're on Facebook and request to join. Last but not least, you can easily share your gardener greetings or book submissions by emailing me at jennifer@thedailygardener.org. The Daily Gardener is produced in lovely Maple Grove in Wyoming, Minnesota, with the help of Paige Mance, Brooke Bierbaum, and Eric Begay. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling, and as always, have a great day in the garden, and we'll see you tomorrow.